We will now investigate how we can use a GC to verify our answer in the previous part. Now, please take out your GC and follow through these steps with me. Before you are able to use your GC, you first have to be able to see this screen over here. Now, how did I get to this screen? First, you have to change the mode of your GC. Now, the default mode of your GC, which is denoted in this row over here, the normal mode that we use for graph plotting and so on is the functions mode. But now, because we are dealing with sequences, we have to change to the sequence mode. So what you have to do is move the cursor down into the appropriate row, okay, and scroll over to sequence mode. And when the cursor is at sequence mode, we press enter. So now if you were to go to y equals to, you will see that you are able to key in sequences. Now let me give you a short explanation of how to interpret all of these, okay? N minimum, it actually stands for the smallest index, which means that it is the least value of n. So if we are to look at the question over here, I see that my value of n, it starts from 1, okay, bearing in mind that the index is this small number over here. My smallest value of n is 1. So for n minimum, what I have to do is to key in 1, okay, then I press enter. Now what about un? Basically, because our calculator cannot show us this, okay, so instead of putting the n as a subscript, what it does is it puts it as in a bracket, okay. So this bracket just means that this is in the subscript, so this will translate to this. Now, so we are asked to key what un is, and if you look at the question, I am told that xn plus 1 is equals to 1 plus square root of xn plus 5. So now, if I were to key this in, I will find that I will have un plus 1 is equals to 1 plus square root un plus 5. Okay, this is just writing all of this in the form that the calculator can understand. However, take a look again. What I have here, is it un plus 1 or is it un? You see that over here we have un, right? Which means that my calculator, I cannot change this, so I have to be flexible. If I have un here, I should have 1 plus square root of u. Now, if it's n plus 1, this one is n, right? Which means that it is 1 less than this. So if I have un here, I should have n minus 1 plus 5. Okay, so let me try to key in this into my GC. I'm going to try to key in this thing in blue into my GC. So my left hand side is already given by my GC. So what I need to do is to key 1 plus. Okay, now this is the part that you have to be careful, okay? I'm going to have square root of un minus 1. Now where is my u? Take a look at your calculator. The u is in fact over here, okay, the small blue number above the 7 key. So to get the u, I need to put shift 7. Okay, this will give me my u. And now I need to put bracket, so I use the normal bracket. Now for n, in sequence mode, the normal variable is now, the default variable rather, is now n. Okay, so if you just press the variable button, it will automatically give you the n that you need. So I'm going to have n minus 1, close bracket, plus 5. Okay, and do a quick check on the brackets to see that everything is correct. And now we press enter. Now what about this? U of n minimum. Remember that n minimum over here I have set it as 1, right? So u of n minimum, what does this translate to? So since u, I'm going to find what is u of n minimum. Okay. Now this is going to be u of 1, right? But like I said, this basically means is u1. Okay, so it's basically the first term. And I'm told in the question, x1 equals to 1. So u of n minimum should be 1. Okay, with that I am done. Now, what I want to do is observe how the sequence behaves, right? To see what is the limit. So there's two ways we can do this. Firstly, we can use a graph. Okay, so if you were to press graph, you see that it appears in the first quadrant. So we can actually zoom. We can use a zoom box. Okay, and we box up this area. Here I move over to the right and up. Okay, so if I were to zoom here, I see that my sequence is, the y value is basically going to plateau and reach a value of around 1, 2, 3, around 4. Okay, so this is congruent with my conclusion in the previous part that the limit is 4. Now for those of you who are not so comfortable with your graphical interpretation, what we can also do is look at the table. Now you see that for negative values of n, we see an error in the table. Why is this? This is because, what did I tell my calculator? I told my calculator that n minimum equals to, I told them that n minimum is equals to 1, right? So now my calculator is telling me, hey, you told me that the smallest value of n is 1. So for values of n that is less than 1, I cannot calculate un. However, starting from u1, okay, I can see that u1 equals to 1, which is what is given in the question. Now, for subsequent values, what do you observe? As n increases, my value tends to 4. Now I have a very important question for all of you. We see here that this value is all 4, right? Does this mean that the value is exactly 4? Think about this and we will discuss it in the tutorial. Okay, so basically what we have done is we have verified that as my n gets larger, the value of each term in the sequence, it indeed goes to 4, and hence the limit is 4. And this is how we do a verification using our GC.